Going on, everybody? 313 Diesel guy here. It's been quite some time since I've made a video. I've been battling some issues for the last 3 months. Um, Long story short, spent a couple days in the hospital. Had a stress test done. Uh, had some echocardiogram or whatever, where they take a camera and stick it into your vein and run it through your heart and all that good stuff. But luckily, come to find out that for the most part, everything came back normal, and everything wrong with me can be fixed with blood thinners and whatnot. So, fun stuff there. Um, really haven't done much with the truck. And again, it's letting me know that. What I mean by that is, I found out the other day when I went to drive it, um, that when she started acting funny on me and whatnot, that the ICP sensor that I initially made a video on was giving me problems. And so I'm sitting there pulling my hair out, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with it. Put a new ICP sensor in it. Again, Ford part, still having problems with it. So I started thinking about the pigtail I put on. I'm like, I don't think it's the pigtail, but we'll find out. So I wiggled it, and sure shit, fucking truck shut off. So, went to drive it out to my boys at Night Shift Diesel because I wanted to have a engine on, or key on engine off and key on engine running, along with a buzz test done, which it barely passed the buzz test and injector contribution test. I got one injector that is pretty well tired out, and another two that aren't far behind it. So anyway, get the truck home, and I pulled my pigtail apart to see where I spliced it in. Come to find out, and I kicked myself in the ass for this when I seen this. Pulled two of the shrink tubings back, just as it should be. Pulled the third one back, and I realized I forgot to solder that one. And sure shit, I put a voltmeter to it, or an ohm meter. And as I'm wiggling it, I'm watching ohms, bounce all over the place. The other two, ohm tested those, and those were fine. So I pulled it all back apart, cleaned it, and then soldered all three this time. Why I didn't solder that third one, I don't know. But then again, shrink tubed it, and then shrink root tubed all three wires together as a whole, and then put the plastic sheathing over it and harnessed it. Haven't had a problem with that since. But in the time that I really, with everything that was going on with my health, it had me pretty well down and out. I was exhausted all the time. I went from making a good amount of money a week to, like right now, I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling. But I'll bounce back from it. I always do. So I'm not really worried about it right now. But in the meantime, in the time that I really wasn't working, it allowed me to catch up on some of my hobby. Because the doctors at the time, they didn't want me getting stressed out. They didn't want me overexerting myself. Because every time I did, I pretty much had chest pains and all that good shit. Oh, sorry, excuse my English. So I kind of submerged myself back into my RC car hobby. Last year, around Christmas time, a little bit before Christmas time, I made a video about my TRX Bronco, along with a trailer I was starting to make. That ended up by being was an enclosed trailer with full functioning lights, brake lights, running lights, marker lights down the side. All the lights on the Bronco worked and everything else. And then I got into, they're called Clodbusters. And anybody who knows RC cars knows what Clodbusters are. Clodbusters and SMT10 Shafties. I was lucky enough to find a decent chassis last year, actually when my trans was out of my truck. I found this Crawford Engineering or Crawford Performance Engineering chassis on Craigslist, and I had at the time a Traxxas Slash 4x4 with a whole bunch of extra parts, on top of the other RCs I already had. But I offered the guy a trade, and typically most people don't want to trade a Clodbuster, especially a full aluminum chassis Clod, racing chassis Clod, for a Slash. But I had enough stuff on this Slash and to go with it, where it was a pretty even trade. So I got this Slash from him, or not the Slash, but the Clodbuster, and it had this ugly ass Chevy body on it. Right here. And at the time, I already knew what I was going to do with the truck. I had a 88, 89 Bigfoot body from a previous Clodbuster I had done. Now mind this, the 89 Bigfoot body is an original Parma body from the late 80s, early 90s. And when I was a kid, about my son's age and younger, my dad had a Clodbuster. And he was obsessed with Bigfoot, just as I am. Actually, thank you, Dad, for that obsession. So, he ended up by retiring his 89 body and going with a 92 body, which was still the same body style as the 89, but the paint job was different. In 89, it was all blue, still said Bigfoot down the side with the little Bigfoot monster truck. But in 92, he switched, Bob Chandler and Dan Runty switched to what you would call the racerback style, which was a lighter blue. It had the orange and yellow stripes down the side, had the Lund windshield visor over it, along with the Lund bed light bar, I guess you'd call it. So he retired his 89 body and then did a 92 body and did the racerback style. And then he made it tilt hood with a model built 460 out of the hood and all other good stuff. Anyway, long story short, he used to run me over with it, and that's kind of what got me into Clodbusters. So he gave me his 89 Bigfoot body many, many years ago for one of my other trucks. So again, I had that 89 Bigfoot body on another Clodbuster, but I sold that Clod. Again, that was stock frame, but custom built 4-link that literally I built out of steering rods from a Revo, an E-Revo. It was kind of neat. It actually very much resembled the Bigfoot 8 style. The late 80s, early 90s Bigfoot, with the 4 chrome 4-link suspension, the first true 4-link suspension on those trucks. Before that, it was still leaf spring and shocks. So, but I kept the body when I sold the Clod because, again, that body meant something to me. So when I brought this one home, I mocked up the body for the short time being, knowing that I was going to do a Bigfoot body that I've still yet to see anybody do. I immediately started buying parts for this thing to keep up with today's race trucks. First thing I bought were rims and tires. It had the stock Clod tires on it and rims. I immediately bought, and I'm not sponsored for this. I'm not getting endorsed for this or anything like this. So this is just telling you about the build of my truck and what I like about it so far. First thing I did was buy the J Concepts Firestorms, and then I bought, which are the tires. Then I bought the J Concept Tribute wheels, and then from there, or not, yeah, the Tribute wheels. Yeah, I think they're the Tribute rims. Anyway, they look just like the monster truck, real monster truck rims. And then from there, I bought J Concepts. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I'm not gonna let you guys see this because I'll reveal it to you guys in a minute. But so hold on, I'm gonna turn you guys away. This is bad. I can't see. I need my glasses, people. What am I supposed to do? Ah. All right. So then I bought the J Concept Renegade gold compounds. And then from there, I put different shocks and springs on it, which was not the final shock and spring setup I went with, by the way. Got rid of the electronics. Had the stock Clodbuster cans in it. Had a Traxxas Emax speed controller in it, and it had a Traxxas radio with it too. So I turned around and I put Thunderbolts or Firebolts for motors in it. Then I turn around and for the electronics, I put a Hobbywing ESC in it, and then clock the motors and put them in one. And I have a Spectrum, was it DX6? Oh, DX5C controller for it. And the reason why that is it's got 5 channels. And that allowed me, if I wanted to run dual steering, which I did for a while. So I could do the crab walk, 4-wheel steering, and all that other good stuff, along with running a couple other things that I was going to put on this body, but I chose not to when I found out how rare it was. So I'm going to save it for the next body. So, and then I did my first race, which I did last May, which actually I didn't do too bad on. And if you look up videos on YouTube called RC Wars, they'll show Clodbuster racing, and my truck will be in there for March 2018 racing. It is the only Bigfoot there in this style, and I didn't do too bad for my very first time ever racing. I was battling a steering issue. I couldn't get the steering geometry right no matter what I did, and then I blew out the servo at the end, and I still almost won the race that I was running. Even with a blown out steering servo and not being able to turn, I knew how to power slide the truck good enough where I still almost took it. And when I say I almost took it, technically I did, but unfortunately I was the first one to cross the line, but I didn't cross the beam completely. My 2 left tires hit the beam, or what drove over the beam display, because I came around the corner sideways, and because I couldn't steer, I just immediately power slid it. And again, I was ahead by 1 truck. But because I didn't cross the beam with the front 2 tires, I was DQ'd, which is fine. Not mad about it. It told me where I had to improve and everything else and whatnot. So I put that away for a while and put it down. But again, once I started having, my health issues, I got back into it again. I turned around. I ordered from Crawford Engineering. I ordered the behind the axle steering. I ordered a Amazon high torque, high speed steering servo, which I'm impressed with how it works. It's pretty good for what I paid for it. Most name brand servos that are as quick and responsive as this servo cost anywhere from $100 up. This thing cost me $28 shipped to my door, and I can't complain. It keeps up with the best of them. So I've got no complaints about that. Excuse me. I ended up by putting again, and I'm not getting endorsed or sponsored by any of these companies. This is not an advertisement for these companies. This is just how I run my truck, and I enjoy it. I have the Proline Power Stroke shocks on it with the white springs. Again, the truck settles down like it should. When it lands from a jump, it doesn't bounce or chatter or anything like that. It settles down like it should. In the corners, it stays nice and level, just as it should. I'm sorry, I got a mustache here it's trying to do its own thing right now, and it's tickling my nose. So, again, back to what I was saying about a trailer. About around Christmas time last year, I was building an enclosed trailer. So, again, once I got immersed back into this, I went, you know what? Because I I took the enclosed part of the trailer off, which by the way is right there. I had the marker light there. That was an amber marker light. And then I had a marker light here. I had one here. I had the ones across the front, which here and here. Well, there they all are right there. But I had it lit up like a legit enclosed car hauler. Well, when I got my Crawford chassis and built the Bigfoot, I took the enclosed part off and made it an open car trailer to tow Bigfoot with the Bronco. The Bronco paint scheme was the blue with the white down the middle of the door and the white cap, and then the blue on the bottom. And then I had Bigfoot on the trailer, and I'm trying to remember, how did I have the tires on it at that point? Trying to remember how I had the tires set up. All I know is it was crowded. It was really too much for the trailer itself. So, recently, like I said, I was like, you know what? Back in the day, Bigfoot was pulled on a fifth wheel trailer. Double axle fifth wheel trailer. I started thinking, it'd be kind of neat to build one. So I built one, a fifth wheel trailer, considerably longer than the original trailer that I built. The original trailer was, my Bronco was a 1/10 scale, and when I measured out the body and wheelbase on the Bronco, I measured out the length of what would be a true 26 foot, 26 foot tongue to bumper enclosed car trailer. So when it was hooked to the Bronco, it was scale. So that totaled out to be just over 2 foot, something like that, or just shy of 2 feet. It was like just shy of 2 feet or something like that, long from tongue to bumper. So when I built the fifth wheel, I scaled it out to be a 52 foot fifth wheel. This thing is damn near 4.5 feet long. Pretty neat. With the truck and the trailer, it comes up just shy of 6 foot length. So anyway, once I was done with building the framing of the trailer and whatnot, I painted it blue to match the truck, to match Bigfoot. I took the Bronco body off, and I found a regular cab short bed F-150, which I'm thinking F-250, but you know what it is, what it is. You can't find a 250 for the TRX4 Traxxas anyway, which is why I went the body I did. So anyway, I took popsicle sticks, cut them all up, whatnot, glued them down for wood decking, which the first night it was done, it turned out pretty neat, but after they started drying, the glue started drying, whatnot, they started popping, so I'll redo that later. Again, painted the frame on the trailer blue. I have not got all the lights back on it yet, but it will soon. And I went as far as to strap the truck down to the trailer, putting lockdown or tie down hooks in the frame of the trailer, or in the flatbed part, finding scale chain along with scale chain binders. So, you know what? How about this? How about I just let it speak for itself? So this is the truck. This is a Bronco TRX4 Traxxas with, again, as you can see, an F-150 regular cab short bed. The wheels, believe it or not, are off of Amazon. So are the tires. Because the stock TRX tires are way too soft for what I was doing. I wanted a stiffer tire for starters, along with, neater looking rims and whatnot, which, by the way, those lights do work. Those ones do. So I saw those on Amazon and I ordered them. And then I seen the bead locks, which are real bead locks. They are not simulated bead locks. Those are real bead locks. And bought spacers for them and everything else. And then you have my fifth wheel, my gooseneck. Which how I did this is kind of neat. I took a front axle spindle off of my Stampede, screwed it in here and locked it into place. And then, I'm sorry, that's the axle end. And then I took the spindle that it sits in and made it so it rocks back and forth in here, and that this sits right into it, causing it to lock down into place. So, which is pretty neat. So again, here's the trailer. There's the tires. Those are not real bead locks. Those are simulated plastic caps. But as you all can see, I painted the lettering on the tires. Again, there's the chains. And then again, there's the little chain binder I was talking about. Now, here's the truck. This is my truck. This is my Bigfoot. It's a nice truck. It does everything I want it to. Everything I need it to. And, yeah, my next race is on December 17th, or not 17th, but 7th, which, by the way, I went to a race already this season with this truck. The first race of the season, second race of the season I went to. Or was that the first? No, the second race of the season, which was October. Yeah, October's race. And I took first place in Pro Light, which is not bad. But then I had to leave because I had a wedding to go to, because I was also running you have the different classes. I ran Pro Light, but I was also running Pro Mod. I was able to qualify in Pro Mod, but again, then I had to leave because I had a wedding to go to, so I really didn't get too far into Pro Mod. So, but yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to do good this year with this truck, just from what I've had so far. So, I have a feeling that this truck will be a force to reckon with this year. Now, when I say nobody else has done this body, people have done this body style truck, but the orange and purple and blue paint job, and all the other ones. I've never seen somebody take the 2003 Super Duty body and do what was called the retro paint job, which there was one Bigfoot running around like that for a couple months, and that is why I chose to do this one. Now, there's a guy that runs Trigger Kings that's running an 08 body with this paint scheme, but not this body. And the one guy from Trigger Kings, his is a crew cab. This is an extended cab. Again, Bigfoot ran, or Bob Chandler ran this design on one of his bodies for a short period of time. And again, that's why I chose to do it. I tried to replicate it the best I could with the Firestone sticker down at the bottom. Again, it's got the Bigfoot, boogieing down the dirt road. I've got the 2 KC lights up front. The Firestone sticker on top. The Summit Racing sticker on the rear quarter. I even went as far as cutting this out, like he does. Firestone sticker back here. Now, this is my pride and joy, one of my pride and joys on this truck. We all know that Bigfoot usually runs a tonneau cover, at least on the older trucks. They don't make a tonneau cover for RC cars. So I did. This is some form of costume fabric, like spandex. Now try being a guy that looks like me inside of Jo-Ann Fabric buying 4 foot of this shit. Kind of funny the looks you get. I had to laugh. But this right here is a sticker. The Ford Oval is a sticker that I was able to get on it and make it work. For the braces that you can see, all those are threaded rod, very small threaded rod, arced, into a piece of 1/4 inch cardboard or poster board, um, which then I reinforced with popsicle sticks on the back. And then, unfortunately, this is the only part I didn't like about doing this, was the staples. Now, one of the things that is so rare about this body is this body was never meant to be on a Clodbuster. This is one of the original Proline bodies for the Traxxas T-Max. The original T-Max from the early 2000s. You know, the T-Max with the .15 that did 35 mile an hour 2-speed trans. That is actually what that body is for. But it fit it perfectly, which is why I went with it. So again, this is why I chose to do this truck. I have another body downstairs that I'm going to do for it also, but when I do that body, I want to make sure it is perfect. And what I mean by that is I have a 97 or 98 F-150 body that Bigfoot ran for a couple years. That was kind of what the last years that Dave Runty was really running the truck. Back when they were still running Gravedigger and all that other stuff on a regular basis. The color combination on that truck, or the paint color itself, the blue they use, is a different kind of blue. Now, there are two trucks, or two paint designs for that truck. One of them is a darker blue than what my Clodbuster is, but more metallic. And then there was a lighter blue, almost like a light Wedgwood blue. Now, the darker blue one, which is the one I want to do, the light Wedgwood blue one, which is the one I want to do. When you look back at it and find the pictures of it, it had a Lund bug guard on it. It actually had mirrors, side view mirrors on the truck. Had the Lund visor on it, had the Lund racer back over the bed, along with 4 KC highlighters up top, square ones. Oh, and the other thing on that truck was, if you look inside the rims, 98, 99 F-150s, the 4x4 FX4s, they had a big aluminum rim with a slash design built into them. Well, in that particular Bigfoot I want to do, there were inserts inside the wheels to mimic that. So again, I'm going for a particular truck. It's not just, a Bigfoot. It is a particular Bigfoot, just like this one right here. It was a particular Bigfoot I wanted to do. So, one of the reasons why I haven't started that yet is because I'm still trying to figure out the color code. And finding a color code that I can spray onto an RC car is going to be slightly difficult. But I want to make sure it's right. I want it to be that when I go to St. Louis for the Trigger Kings and all that other stuff, and when this thing is at Bigfoot World headquarters, which I will be going to St. Louis this year, because I do want to run the Trigger King guys, and I think it would be neat to have this truck and the other body, along with the whole rig, sitting next to a real Bigfoot. I think that would be super neat. God, I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, I think that'd be pretty neat to have, these two trucks sitting next to a real Bigfoot and all that other stuff. Oh, one of the other things I did to make this more realistic, on this body, the wheel wells naturally came down. Now, on Bigfoot, he cut them back. And as you all can see, I cut it back, just like Bigfoot would have. Same with the front. I cut it back. When I build my trucks, if I'm copying a truck, or I want it to look like a truck, I do my best to try and pay attention to all the details. And again, that's why that 98 F-150 body, I could spray it this blue that's already on my truck, but it wouldn't be right. So therefore, this one's going to be just right. But my phone just let me know that my battery is going to die soon. So I will continue this video on another day. Wow, it's 30 minutes long. Holy crap. Sorry, guys. So anyway, that's why I haven't posted anything about my truck or, whatnot. Again, I haven't really done anything on my truck. It's all been focused on this and myself getting better. So I'll let you guys go for now. Any questions, any comments, anything, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button. I always could use more subscribers. Any ideas that you guys have for this or my personal daily driver, let me know. I'm always open to opinion, believe it or not. I'm always open to ideas, and I'm always open to constructive criticism. Now, if you just want to be, criticized to be a jerk, I'm just going to laugh at you the whole way. And I think most people will too. So, anyway, 7-3, love y'all. God bless y'all. Have a good night. And tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. And yeah, enjoy your holiday and time with your family. Good night and God bless everybody.